30 days after we got married, my ex-husband and his white moonlight forced me into a divorce. I was left to raise our daughter, who has a heart condition, all by myself, while hiding from city inspectors, only to bump into him again. The girl he was holding was in haute couture, while I couldn't even afford a princess dress for my daughter. Now, he's begging for a remarriage? It's too late. I'm no longer the soft, easily manipulated woman I once was. The winter in Beijing is very cold. I was outside SM Mall with my daughter, setting up a stall. And when I saw her obedient little face, I felt a pang of guilt. Suddenly, the city inspectors showed up, and I quickly started pushing the cart away. My daughter, Sway, struggled to help me push it too. At the corner, we managed to lose the security guards. But then I ran into an uninvited guest, Sway Jing. Just like 5 years ago, his presence was striking. The coat over his suit made him look even more handsome, with refined features and a calm, detached expression. The only difference was that he now had an air of maturity. He was holding a little girl in his arms. I never expected to see him like this, especially in such a messy situation where I'm hiding from city inspectors while setting up a stall. Back then, we got married and divorced in less than 3 days because of Feng Ya. But now, their child had grown so big. We both froze, staring at each other. When he lifted his eyes to look at me, he seemed momentarily lost. I kept pushing the cart, holding Sway's hand, and kept walking. After a while, a tall figure blocked our way. Sway Jing stepped in front of us, holding the little girl. He stood in silence for a while, just staring at me. Sway tugged at my sleeve and asked, "Mom, who is this uncle?" I thought back to what Sway Jing had said when we divorced. Fine, she has a jealous streak. So we'll just act like we don't know each other from now on. So, I shook my head. He's a stranger. Maybe he wants to buy us some candied hawthorns. The little girl wrapped her arms around his neck and cooed, "Daddy, I want to eat one. Can you buy me one, please?" Mom doesn't know. We'll eat it secretly without telling her. I suddenly felt a little awkward. Looking at the little girl's dress, I felt a pang of sadness. On Sway's birthday, she had her eye on a dress just like that. She stood outside the shop for a long time. But I couldn't afford to buy it. That dress alone was enough to cover half a year's worth of living expenses. Sway's voice was clear and sweet, full of innocent joy. She skillfully said, "Uncle, do you want the hawthorn flavor or the strawberry one? Hawthorn is 5 yuan, strawberry is 15. Just as Sway Jing was about to speak, a woman in high heels and a wool coat stepped out of a Land Rover. She walked up to Sway Jing and naturally linked her arm with his. Then, she playfully scolded him, "Don't buy it. Our daughter can't eat sweets, or her teeth will rot." Sway Jing's lips curved up slightly. He didn't buy it. Feng Ya didn't seem to recognize me. Watching them walk away as a family of 3, I let out a sigh of relief. The divorce between Sway Jing and me had been ugly. We were married for less than 30 days before we got divorced. Back then, life was too hard, too poor. I couldn't eat anything and thought I just had a stomach illness. I was 1 year away from graduating with my master's degree, but I didn't dare set foot in a hospital. Until one day, I passed out and ended up in the hospital, only to find out I was 6 months pregnant. I thought rationally and decided I shouldn't keep the child. But the doctor told me, first of all, it's too late for an abortion. Secondly, your uterine lining is thin. After this miscarriage, you may never be able to get pregnant again. But the baby was strong and kept fighting for life. So, I kept the baby. When the baby was born, she was diagnosed with congenital heart disease. I worked while caring for her and paying for her treatment. So, I hadn't saved a single penny over the years. When Sway was 6 months old, I could barely keep going. I thought about taking her to Sway's family. Through the window, I saw Sway Jing holding a child. Later, I found out Feng Ya was also pregnant. When I saw that scene, I forgot how to breathe. Feng Ya's family had been close friends with Sway's family. Her parents were in a car accident the same day Sway Jing and I got our marriage certificate. Her grandfather fell ill that same day. Her mother was in the ICU, hooked up to tubes, crying as she held Sway Jing's hand. Jing, take care of Ya for me. You've known her since childhood. Only if you marry her will I feel at ease. You must take care of her." That day, when her grandfather passed away, he said the same thing to Sway Jing. Ya has always liked you. We've had bad luck, and now she's all alone. Take care of her." Feng Ya's grandfather had saved Sway Jing's grandfather's life. So the two families had always supported each other. After her parents and grandfather passed away, Feng Ya came to Sui Jing all the time. She would have nightmares in the middle of the night and call him. Jing, I'm scared. I dreamed that my parents and grandfather came back to find me. I'm scared. She cried on the phone. Sui Jing immediately changed into his clothes and left. Feng Ya's parents' business had failed before they passed away, leaving behind a large debt. The creditors came and smashed Feng Ya's house. She appeared at our door in bare feet and thin pajamas on a snowy night. When I saw her, I was stunned. Sui Jing rushed back from the company, immediately taking off his coat and wrapping it around her. Feng Ya's voice was broken, her shoulders shaking, and her eyes red, making her look pitiful. The three men blocked me for 3 days. I didn't dare to leave, and they wouldn't let me call anyone. I snuck out in the middle of the night. He paid off all Feng Ya's family's debts, and taught a lesson to the men who had dared to bully her. The weather turned colder, and I caught a cold. But I didn't want to bother Sui Jing, who had been so busy lately. Until one day, I ran into him and Feng Ya at the hospital. When I got home, I felt wronged and couldn't hold back my tears. That was our first argument. The next day, Feng Ya showed up at my house. She was wearing my slippers and my coat. Coming out of my master bedroom. Sui Jing had just returned from the company. In my anger, I said, "How is her behavior any different from a mistress?" For the first time, I saw Sui Jing lose his temper. His usually cold demeanor was tinged with anger. His voice was icy. "Wen Yi Ning, don't say such things." Feng Ya hid behind him, looking innocent. I didn't know how our relationship had turned into this. We were married for less than 30 days. The next day, Sui Jing's parents came to find me. His mother said, "Yi Ning, Sui Jing will take care of Ya for the rest of her life. If you want to stay with him, don't mind this." Sui Jing's parents were on Feng Ya's side, and so was Sui Jing. That night, Feng Ya committed suicide. She chose the night of my birthday to end her life. I had made a cake and prepared a candlelit dinner, waiting for Sui Jing. But I waited until he said, "If you can't stand it, we can get a divorce." I couldn't find the words to speak. Sui Jing lightly parted his lips. "Do you know, your careless words almost killed her." Tears welled up in my eyes. And I choked. "Fine, let's divorce." He froze for a moment. The divorce was ugly. He sneered, saying, "Fine, let's act like we don't know each other anymore." I slunk back to my graduate student dorm. I never expected to see Sui Jing again. This time, it was just him. I was out with Sui, and his tall, handsome figure blocked our way. Sui said, "Mom, this uncle looks so familiar. He's the one who wanted to buy us candied hawthorns last night." I smiled and answered, "Yes." Sui Jing looked at the child. Then at me. His voice was hoarse. "How old is your daughter?" I answered, 4 years old." He froze. His lips parted slightly. I knew he had recognized the child was his. I wasn't trying to hide it. "What's her name?" he asked. Gu Sui-in, as in safe and sound. Sui asked me, "Mom, do you know this uncle?" I shook my head. "No, I don't." Sui Jing looked at me, and then suddenly knelt down. With red eyes, he looked at Sui. His voice choked. "Sui, I'm your father. Not an uncle." Sui hid behind me, looking at him with curiosity. Sui Jing handed me a business card with his phone number. "I've tried to contact you but couldn't reach you. We should talk about the child." Back when I left, I even made sure to disconnect our couple account in the game. I took Sui back home. I patiently explained to Sui, "I lied to you. The uncle we just met is your father. Sui looks so much like him. Anyone can tell she's his miniature version." Sui gently mumbled. "But he has another daughter. He was holding her yesterday. And he wanted to buy us candied hawthorns." Sui's words shook me. Sui Jing found my workplace. I had just stepped out of the lecture hall. His striking appearance made him stand out in the crowd. Our reunion was an exception. I never expected to meet him again. 4 years ago, when I was planning to find him with my child, I saw him with Feng Ya's child. And I never thought I'd encounter him again. He looked at me with his dark eyes, and calmly said, "Let's talk." "Okay, but let's go somewhere far from the school. I don't want my students or colleagues to see." We sat in a cafe. He looked at me, his voice cold. "Why are you setting up a stall with your child? You're teaching at Beijing University now. You shouldn't need to do this." Should I tell him my salary can't even cover Sway Sway's medical expenses? I heard a colleague say. My niece set up a stall selling candied hawthorns during summer vacation, making 200 yuan a day in pure profit. I let Sway Sway rest at home, but she insisted on accompanying me. I smiled. Sway Jing, you're really overstepping. He looked up, his lips tight. Wen Yi Ning, we should remarry. The child needs a father. When I heard those words, I was shocked. A bitter smile appeared on my lips. Sway Jing, remarriage is illegal. He furrowed his brow. I didn't marry her. Sway Sway is my child. He spoke softly, explaining. The child is Feng Ya's. With her ex-boyfriend. She's not mine. Sway Jing took a call and left. Sorry, I have something to take care of. Let me know when you've made up your mind. Sway Sway's medical bills and treatment costs were suffocating me. So when he proposed remarriage, I hesitated. A while later, Sway Sway's kindergarten teacher called me. Sway An's mom. Sway An hit a classmate today. You need to come to school. She made the classmate bleed. I rushed to the school, shocked that Sway Sway would hit anyone. At the peak of dismissal, Sway Sway's classmates' parents were gossiping. How could Sway An hit a classmate? I heard she hit a child from the Sway family. The Sway family only has one precious granddaughter. No wonder they're upset. I wasn't really paying attention to what they were discussing, and quickly rushed into the office. Inside the office, Sway Sway was sitting in the corner, her eyes red from crying, looking upset. When she saw me, her eyes filled with tears. I asked her, why did you hit the other kids? She apologized in a small voice. Sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to. It's just that she called me fatherless and said you're a mistress. A shadow appeared behind me. The man's voice was deep. Don't cry, Nian Ya, Daddy's here. My body stiffened. His voice was too familiar. I turned around and saw Sway Jing. He was holding a child in his arms, and Feng Ya stood beside him. We both froze for a moment, and when our eyes met, Sway Jing seemed momentarily stunned. Feng Ya looked at me, then at Sway Sway. Her face turned pale. With a smile, she spoke. Yi Ning, long time no see. I replied, long time no see. The teacher frowned. Where's Sway Sway's father? I noticed you only filled in the mother's name on the enrollment form. If possible, could you have Sway Sway's father come as well? Sway Sway suddenly looked very sad and said, Teacher, I don't have a dad. My dad is dead. After that, she called Sway Jing and Feng Ya, uncle, and aunt. Sway Jing looked down at her suddenly, his emotions shifting. His voice trembled when he said, Sway Sway, I'm not your uncle. The teacher kept apologizing. I'm so sorry. Mr. Sway, Mrs. Sway. This is our kindergarten's oversight. Feng Ya spoke before Sway Jing could. It's okay. I know Sway Sway's mother. The teacher's expression relaxed. That's good. That's good. You two can have a good talk. Sway Sway is very well behaved and polite. There might have been some misunderstanding. Sway Jing started to put Nian Ya down, but her eyes were filled with tears. Sway Jing paused. Feng Ya stood in front of me, her tone gentle. A Jing has always been a good father. He's taken very good care of us these years. Yi Ning, your child is Sway Jing's, right? She looks a lot like him. She smiled shyly. I'm sorry. Nian Ya is possessive and very clingy with a Jing. Sway Sway pulled at my sleeve, her face full of grievances, and looked at Sway Jing in shock. Seeing the unfamiliar look in her eyes, Sway Jing's heart twitched. He comforted Nian Ya and set her down. Then he bent down and tried to hug Sway Sway. When he crouched down and reached for Sway Sway, she dodged him and jumped into my arms. This gesture stunned Sway Jing. His voice softened. Sway Sway, can Daddy hug you? Sway Sway shook her head, burying her face in my shoulder. Mom, I don't want Uncle to hug me. Sway Jing's smile froze. I gave a polite smile. Sorry. I'll be going now. Sway Jing seemed to want to follow, but Nian Ya called, Daddy. Wait, darling. Sway Jing stopped. He didn't follow me. My earnings from the stall, along with the savings I've accumulated over the years, are almost enough to cover Sway Sway's surgery fees. And there should be some left over. When I graduated, I chose to work at a university because of the long maternity leave, so I could spend more time with Sway Sway during the holidays. Once Sway Sway finishes her surgery, I'm planning to move back to Lingzhou. When we got home, I asked Sway Sway, Sway Sway, do you like your dad? since she learned the word, dad. She's been asking where her dad is. I didn't know how to answer. So I made up a story. Your dad went to a faraway place. And he may not come back. A place like heaven. Later, when she learned that heaven is where people go after they die, she thought Sui Jing had passed away. Which is why she said those things in the afternoon. I patiently explained to her. That uncle is your dad, she asked. But he's my classmate Nian Ya's dad. My smile froze. Sui, he's also your dad. I knew that Sui Jing's family would be in a better position to raise Sui. She's just a 4-year-old child, and if she likes Sui Jing, I won't blame her or stop her from seeing him. After all, she carries his blood. The next day, Sui Jing's tall figure appeared, making my home seem small and cramped. He frowned slightly, seemingly dissatisfied with the living conditions here. When I thought about Sui's ongoing treatment and medical expenses, I relented. She also needs a better educational environment. Sui Jing's voice was clear. I bought tickets to Universal Studios. Would you like to go with us? I nodded. He squatted in front of Sui, his voice calm and gentle. Sui, I brought you a doll. Do you like it? Sui carefully glanced at me. Mom, is it okay to take other people's things? I smiled. Do you like it? If you do, then take it. Sui Jing's smile faltered. Sui, I'm not someone else. I'm your dad. Sui took the doll and whispered. Thank you, Daddy. Sui Jing's eyes misted slightly. Sui Jing and I hardly spoke. During the trip, it was mostly him trying to make conversation. For example, asking me what Sui liked to eat. I responded in a very formal manner. We got together in our first year of college. And our friends all said we'd definitely get married. We did get married, and we also got divorced. After so many years, I realized that being with him felt a bit awkward. When we arrived at Universal Studios, he was holding Sui in one arm and naturally reached for my hand. I flinched, as if I had been shocked. We both froze. He smirked and said, that ride is something all three of us can do, as if nothing had happened. At Universal Studios, we ran into a street photographer. Hello, your daughter is really beautiful. She looks just like your husband. The photographer looked at Sui Jing and asked, may I take a picture of you with your wife and daughter? Sui Jing's voice rang out at the same time as mine. Sui Jing nodded, his eyes sparkling. And his lips slightly curled. Sure, I said, sorry. We're not married. The photographer seemed a bit awkward. Oh, sorry. I misunderstood. Sui Jing's smile disappeared, and his lips tightened. Every time we had to be in close contact with Sui Jing, I turned down the offer or asked him to take Sui instead. I didn't really want to be alone with him. It felt too awkward after so many years apart. But he remained calm. I settled down with Sui in Lingzhou. With the money I'd saved over the years, I bought a small 2-bedroom apartment. The housing prices and cost of living here are much lower than in Beijing. But this company is one of the best in the industry. So the benefits are good. I enrolled Sui in a new school. Slowly, I got used to the pace of work here. After working for a year, the project team I led landed a big deal. After the deal was signed, I got promoted and received a bonus. When I was teaching at university, I kept inputting and learning. So I adapted quickly and performed well. A year later, I became even more proficient at my job. Our life with Sui was gradually improving. And her health was getting better too. During her follow-up checkup, the doctor said there was hardly any significant impact anymore. I shed a few tears upon hearing this result. Sui gently wiped my tears. Mom, don't cry. At the company's annual party, I saw Sui Jing. He stood tall, quietly, just standing there. His gaze was fixed on my face. We stared at each other for a long time. And his eyes slowly reddened. His gaze went from cloudy to clear. His lips moved slightly, and his voice was hoarse. Yi Ning. As he walked toward me, he called my name. The leader beside me asked, Director Wen, do you know Mr. Sui? I smiled and denied it. No, it's the first time we've met. Hello, Mr. Sui. Sui Jing froze, then corrected himself. Yeah. We don't know each other. At the end of the party, he appeared in front of me. I miss you, and Sui. My heart remained calm. Since the day we divorced, I felt nothing for him. I didn't stop him from seeing his daughter. She has a piano lesson in the evening. She's free on the weekend. I tried to leave, but as I brushed past him, he grabbed my arm. The grip was strong, and I couldn't break free. Seeing colleagues passing by, I hid. After they left, he explained in a voice tinged with tears. Yi Ning, I was late the day Sui Sui was discharged. I'm sorry. That day, I cleared things up with Feng Ya. And we severed contact. I didn't know you were being discharged early. I nodded. Sui Jing, you don't have to explain. It has nothing to do with me. We're divorced now. So we shouldn't interfere with each other's relationships. You do, and so do I. His voice trembled. Are you saying you have someone you like? The divorce back then was just out of anger. You left so decisively, and I wanted you back. But I couldn't find you. I calmly replied. Sui Jing, I gave you a chance. When our daughter was 6 months old, I came to your family. I saw you and Feng Ya through the window, holding her daughter and enjoying the moment as a happy family. You didn't know how heartbroken I was at that moment. The most important thing is that from the day we divorced, I stopped loving you. He stared at me, his eyes filled with panic. Struggling to speak. I'm sorry. During the new year, Sui Jing showed up at my door. He stood outside, the fine snow falling on his shoulders. His eyes were dark, his eyelids red. Sui Sui brought him a coat. Uncle Sui, you should leave. Happy New Year. When my daughter called out to him, Uncle Sui, his heart stopped suddenly. It struck deep in his chest. A pain so sharp he could hardly breathe. His throat tightened. And it took a long time for him to speak. Sui Sui, I'm your dad. Sui Sui waved at him. Hurry and go home. Mom and I are going to have New Year's dinner. And your family is waiting for you. I asked Sui Sui. Do you want to go back to Beijing with Uncle Sui? She shook her head. No, I just want to be with Mom. 6 months later, I received an email. It was a will and inheritance document. Sui Jing wrote in the letter, I know you won't see me. But I only have Suian as my child. Everything in the Sui family belongs to her. When she turns 18, I will give her 10 million yuan. At 28, she will get shares and several properties. Every month, a large sum of money was deposited into my bank account. The alimony sent by Sui Jing. Sui Jing's epilogue. Finally able to marry the one I love. I had planned the honeymoon. Just as I was preparing to take Yi Ning on a trip, the Feng family ran into trouble. Feng's mother asked me to take care of Feng Ya. She had been mentally unstable for years and always tried to match me with Feng Ya. Afraid of upsetting her, I didn't tell her that both Feng Ya and I already had partners and that I was married. The most important thing was that Feng Ya's grandfather had saved my grandfather. Feng Ya's grandmother saved me from the fire, but tragically died in the process. Grandfather always said our family was well-rooted, and there could be no stains. So, the favor from the Feng family is something we owe and must repay for life. When Feng's mother held my hand and reminded me, she cried, saying, she doesn't have her grandmother anymore. The old lady saved you. You weren't burned at all. But she got terribly burned. And she died looking so bad. I couldn't say a word. Feng's mother kept reminding me of the debt the Feng family owed us. I wanted to repay their kindness as soon as possible. But Feng's grandfather cursed at me. Do you think you can buy my wife's life with some money? You're so ungrateful. In the eyes of others, it seemed like I was bound to be with Feng Ya for life. So, I felt helpless. Feng's old man couldn't bear the blow of losing his son and daughter-in-law and passed away too. Before he left, he still made me promise to marry Feng Ya. The only thing I could do was take care of her. Repay the debt. I never expected that Feng Ya would cause so many misunderstandings between me and my wife. She thought Feng Ya was a mistress. But she already had a boyfriend. And I thought she was just being unreasonable. Later, I found out that Feng Ya had secretly loved me. From Yi Ning's perspective, Feng Ya was trying to steal her husband. After the divorce, I deeply regretted my impulsive decision. Later, I saw Feng Ya selling things at a stall with a child. When that child looked up, I lost my focus. He looked so much like me. I knew it was my child. I went back home and started planning to buy a bigger house and how to decorate the children's room. But I still lost them, mother and daughter. The investigation into the incident from years ago was reopened. And it was discovered that the person who started the fire was Feng's grandfather. Out of fear and guilt, he staged the entire incident, believing it himself after so long. When I returned from Lingzhou, I fell seriously ill. My parents nearly prepared for my funeral. I thought they would pity me, but they didn't. Every day, I waited, hoping that she and Sui Sui would walk through that door.